Hello, my name is Gerardo Huerta, and today we'll talk about writing. Writing has two approaches. The first one is product center, where the most important thing is the final product, and process center, where the emphasis is given into the different steps that were taken to arrive into the final product. Depending on the audience, writing might change. For instance, if you're writing a poem, then the style will be poetic. But if you're writing an essay, then the style must be academic. Also, the content is important because if you're writing a summary, then you have to keep the first source information, but synthesize it. And on the other hand, if you're writing a short story, then for pleasure, then you will have to make the evolution of different characters and the role into the plot. For improving writing, it's important to have feedback. And there are three different types of feedback. The first one is self-feedback or autonomous, where the author is the one that corrects himself. We also have peer feedback, where the final product is given to a peer and he or she gives some observations. And then we have teacher feedback. This is pretty similar to peers, but the difference is that in teachers, the observations might be more substantial and technical. As teachers, it's important to always look for real world experiences for our students. And nowadays, with the COVID-19 pandemic, internet has shown that writing is relevant. On social media, for example, we have Facebook, Twitter, where people can write up to 140 characters, and they also need to be able to synthesize their ideas, emails, and they can be formal or informal. This is something that they will use for the rest of their lives. We also have Reddit and WhatsApp. Some techniques that we can use in our classes are journals. They can be academic or personal, weekly, daily, depending. The merging of stories is basically taking two different stories to create a new one. Also, you put together different characters and the plots are merged into one. Or the last one is creating a story based on pictures that are presented to the students. So they see a picture and they write something, and then they see a second picture and they continue with their story. So this is my first video. Thank you so much, and we will see each other in a few minutes. Thank you. Hello, my name is Gerardo Huerta, and today I will share with you a lesson that I did with my students. There are 7 students, their level is intermediate, and the class lasted for an hour. They are adults. The topic is writing practice of stories, and the main aim is the creation of writing stories for entertainment. The lesson was divided into 4 different activities. The first one is a warm-up. In here, I had students sharing their thoughts and things that they remember about 2 movies. The first one is Harry Potter and the Deadly Hallows, and the second one was Avengers Endgame. For those students who are visual, I created this template on Pinterest. Um, this was created because some people, whenever they see images, they can start to remember, and also to help them not mixing the different movies, because these sagas, they have many movies. I did the same for Harry Potter and the Deadly Hallows. So this also helps them to remember many sections of the movies. And if for some reason you have to show pictures, I really recommend to use Pinterest, because it's a nice way to save the images that you're gonna use, and you don't have to make a PowerPoint. It's everything on the web. Well, after the commercial, the second part of the activity is a brainstorming. And this is actually the first step to organize the main material, let's say. So the students will use the brainstorming chart, which is this one. And as you can notice, it's divided with in between the 2 movies, Harry Potter and Avengers. And they have to write from 4 to 5 characters in each one of the movies, 2 main events and the endings in a very short way. This activity takes about 5 minutes, because before they already hear what other people were saying, they saw the images, so it's going to be easier for them to write summarizing these different sections of the chart. Then the third activity that is actually the longest one is writing from scratch. They're gonna write, well, the idea is to take both movies and put them together into one single story. So they're gonna take the information from this brainstorming chart and they will write a new story by using some of the events from both movies and also involving the characters. So that somehow they have to be creative as well to put the stories together and to be careful that the story makes sense. You know, it's going to be a complete new story, so it can actually have different directions. It doesn't matter. But the important thing is that they have to use the characters to involve some of the events that they mentioned, and also the endings. They have to be mixed. In the resources, they're gonna use an electronic dictionary, and this is actually the dictionary that that I recommended it to them, because it has good definitions. Then this one lasts for 30 minutes. And the last activity is peer feedback. In here, students will share their stories with another student, with their peers. And both of them, they're gonna give feedback. So they're gonna read the story of the other person, and they also gonna give some opinions and some ideas that can be implemented into the story so that it can be easy to understand and interesting. Perhaps if they notice that there was something confusing on the story, they can also point it out. And in the next class, we're gonna continue with the working of this activity until I'm polishing all the details. So this is actually what I did for writing. It's a good way, I think, it's a way of keeping the interest of the students, but also to practice the activity writing. So thank you so much and talk to you later. Bye bye.